United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A little quicker, right?
Slow down.
All right, next we're gonna have the canvas and certify the election returns for the special CD, 19 runoff for September 18, 2018, should be 2018. There was a type error. And, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
So I need to read the,
Yes, sir.
okay,
Unless you'd like for me to do that.
okay. There's a motion, I need a second. Second. I, Efrain Valdez, Valverde County Judge of Valverde County, Texas, met with the Commissioners Court, sitting as a canvassing board and canvassed the special election for runoff, Senate District 19 on September 24, 2018 at 207 Lozoya Street, Commissioners Court Chamber, Del Rio, Texas. I certify that the figures on the tally sheets correspond with the figures on the returns. Witness in hand, my hand, in the 24th day of September 2018.
Okay. We really need to read the numbers also as
Okay.
part of it. On the, we had a total of 2,871 voters. 1,491 is the correct figure for Mr. Gallego. 1,385 was for Mr. Flores. Total of 2,876. The difference in the votes are the ones that came in after the election day, which were 8, and those 8 split 4 and 4. So that's the difference in the numbers there. And it's the written number that you're approving
Okay.
in handwriting.
Right. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any questions, discussion? Not all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, nobody, 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the time is now 6:02. We're having our second public hearing on proposed tax rate for fiscal year 2018-2019. Anybody want to speak for or against the tax rate? Go ahead.
A quick question, Judge Valdez, before I proceed. My name is Sandra Fuentes, co-chair of the organization. The public hearing is just to comment on the tax rate, and that's it?
Yeah.
Nothing else?
Nothing else.
All right.
Okay. You want to speak for or against it on the
The
rate?
board organization is in favor of the proposed rate, we believe, of .52. We are in agreement with that. However, also for the court to follow with the suggestions and comments we have made in previous public hearings that to use some of the county taxpayers' money for unfinished projects and for other projects that we'll be addressing in the near future with our elected officials. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak for or against the tax rate?
I just wanted to add, thank you very much for having this public hearing in the evening, and also please consider having regular commissioners' court meetings in the evening as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, anybody else? If not, this hearing is now closed. All right, now let's go to item number 8, discuss and possible action regarding the request for EMC to purchase a APX 6500 handheld radio, not to exceed $64,900.
$4,900.
4,000.
$4,900. Yes. Any questions?
Money's coming from
I
where?
thought I heard $6,500
EMC.
from the AMC budget.
They have money in it?
Yes, sir. They do.
What's problem with the old one is like 8 or 9 years old, and we were having a hard time, especially with the weather that we've been having. So
Motion to approve. Second.
there's a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Not all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, nobody, 5-0.
Thank you.
All right, next, discussion possible action on the following items, 2018-2019 budget.
Good evening, Judge. Mayor. Is there any items that are still left that anyone would like to go over?
I'd like to bring up an extra one. At the last meeting, we discussed the hours and setting the hours at 40-hour weeks. After further research by you and Juanita, it has come to my attention that this court does not set hours. Apparently, individual elected officials set the hours. We set an annual salary, and individual elected officials will set their hourly rate and their hours worked, according to these AG's opinions and the stuff that I got from David Brooks. So I will make a motion that there will be no hours set by this court.
Second.
I'm very interested in your legal research. But let me just point one thing out before y'all vote. The court has the authority to set salaries. And this court, whenever employees get hired, they're hired at an hourly rate. Now, the individual elected officials do set their hours, and they do tell their employees when to come to work. But by federal statute and by our contract with retirement and everything, there are things that limit what elected officials can do. For instance, we have a threshold in which to be considered a full-time employee. And we also have a threshold in which you have to pay overtime or assess comp hours. Now, this court, well, I don't know this court, because a long time ago we were supposed to do it, that employees are paid by the hour. And since, I mean, nothing has really changed. When you turn in a timesheet for your employees, they get paid by the hour. If your employee works 30 hours, they get paid for 30 hours. If they get paid, if they work 40 hours, they get paid 37 and a half plus whatever. If you make that kind of motion, you're going to have to reevaluate annual leave and sick leave and those kinds of things.
I was informed
By an attorney.
by an attorney that the court has no authority to set an hourly rate for its employees, that only the elected official does. We set an annual salary that is allocated to that department, and the elected official sets the hourly rate they will be paid and the number of hours they will work.
Well, then, we'll have to revisit the budget because you need to allow the elected officials to do that. What's interesting is that we were told by TAC specifically to set the salaries by the hour.
I've got a question. With what we're doing right now, bottom line is we're just undoing what we've already done, right? Commissioner?
Well, I'm not-
Yeah, well, we're not setting any hour yet.
So it just goes,
It goes to nothing. I mean, there is no hours, there is nothing set.
you have a motion?
It is what it is.
Okay.
And the other thing too, that, you know, what, we should be working as a team. And, at the last go around, y'all have Juanita, and I don't know who asked her to do this, but Juanita called TAC and got one answer, and then she talked to the Texas Workforce Commission and talked to the Fair Labor Standards Board and had a different answer, and then Matt comes up with a different answer, and they're all legal answers. And then Commissioner Nettleton now is speaking of Attorney General's opinion, and then he spoke to an attorney, and of course all of this is open session, so it's all open record, and anybody here that would like to see that, the opinions he has or wants to talk to anybody about, Matt included, about the opinion he came up with.
Absolutely.
The legal opinion he came up with as a
Absolutely.
county auditor, and Juanita has her legal opinions as Human Resources Director, welcome to do it. But don't you think it'd be nice if we got together and everybody looked at the same opinions, read them together and came up with a consensus, or maybe whatever attorney Commissioner Nettleton spoke with, everybody had access to the same attorney so we could come up with a consensus? I mean, just a suggestion, since we do have.
Okay, there's a motion and a second.
Just
Any
a little
more
respect.
comments? Okay, yeah. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? You opposed?
No.
Okay. All right. And now let's go to, anything else on the budget?
So is that a 5-0?
5-0.
If we're still on the budget, then I think that the elected officials should be given this information so that we have the opportunity to determine what kind of hourly rate we want for our employees, because now it seems like we have an option. unless I misunderstood what's being, or maybe you can clarify what options the elected officials have at this point.
Well, according to statute in David Brooks, that,
And you spoke with David Brooks.
I did not, I pulled from David Brooks's book, it was referred to, that just, it plainly states that anyone at any training that they go to, says the Commissioners Court cannot set the hours of your office.
No, that's correct.
Okay.
Cannot set the hours of your office, which means that Janie could open her office from 9 to 6.
Correct.
So, but that has nothing to do with how you pay employees. I could set my office hours from 7 to 4. But that has nothing to do with how I pay my employees.
So how-
It's setting the office hours.
But in the budget, you're passing that position at that rate.
No,
At that
but,
annual
okay,
rate.
let's go step by step. Setting office hours.
Mhm.
Do you know what that means?
I have a vague
Okay,
idea of what that means.
so your office is going to be open.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with how many employees you have or what they're paid at the rate.
Okay.
It's just when the office is open. You can have people working when the office is closed,
Okay.
and you can have people not working when the office is open.
So-
Every elected official absolutely has the right to set their office hours. Like Jamie will close her office half a day or something on days as needed, but that doesn't mean her employees aren't working.
Okay. So the court can, you're saying that the court can dictate to the elected official how many hours their employees will work?
They can set
Okay.
they can say that you will, in order to be a full-time employee, you will work X number of hours.
Okay.
And then that way, as a full-time employee, you will enjoy these benefits. And if you don't work X number of hours, you don't get these benefits.
Yeah, I'm not doubting that the more than 29 hours to be considered a full-time employee. I'm not doubting that.
Yeah, and so that's all tied in together.
Yeah. I'm
So
not
if you're
doubting
saying now that you can't set the hourly rate, then only we can,
Mhm.
then the elected officials are going to be needed to be given an opportunity to find out how much money we have to set for our employees.
But that amount is in the budget.
You can't set the, so we can take a bunch of money and allocate it any way we want throughout our.
No, we're passing a budget. Every department has a budget. Within that budget, you have a line item per employee and a description of that employee.
Mhm.
Then there's a dollar amount for that employee.
But
That's what
Commissioner
we're
Nelson
setting.
said we can't.
No,
You
that's
No,
can't
no,
set
that ain't
it.
what he said.
That's not what I said. I said, we set the annual salary for that position. The individual elected official sets the rate and the hours that that employee will work as long as it complies with that annual salary set by the court. So if we set it at 21.5, you get to determine if they're gonna work 10 hours, 40 hours, and you're gonna pay them whatever as long as you stay within the 21.5. That is an individual elected official's decision.
So if we want them to work part-time, we don't have to come to the court.
As far as what?
As long as we stay within the budget.
But they have to comply with the minimums of the,
Of all of our other.
I just wanna- I just wanna know what the distinction is.
It is not clear cut. It is very slippery, as David Brooke points out. And that's probably why it's set up the way it is.
there are certain counties over a population of 355,000 that have went and changed the law at the state and are allowed to set the work hours.
But those aren't us, we're not
I
300,000.
understand that.
I just
There's a
don't-
second part.
And I'm really, I know I sound difficult.
Not you, Anna.
But I really want to understand what we're doing here, because it sounds like you're giving us a discretion we didn't have before, but I think you're not. I think we're doing the same thing we always did.
No, you're gonna have authority as an elected official and as the head of the department, elected official, to go in there and mess with the hours. I mean, for lack of a better word.
But how?
But there's only a dollar amount.
So basically, it amounts to, from my understanding, is that if we allot you 21.5 for that position and you want to pay them $12 an hour and they only work 20 hours, as long as you stay within the 21.5, that's your prerogative.
Or what if I want to reduce their hours and make them work overtime?
As long as you comply with the federal overtime laws,
Is that
that's your
true, Matt,
decision.
that I can have employees working overtime now? As long as it stays within the budget position?
What was the,
Slippery.
what was it?
I'm telling you guys.
What was your terminology? We need to what?
Well, you could
Play what?
also have.
Play nice.
Play nice.
Play
We
nice.
just need to play
Something around
nice.
21.5.
I
So
think
are you
I think
saying-
it's more of an accounting problem than a legal problem, that I turn in my timesheet and if Matt screws it up, then we can sue him. Who's gonna set the hourly rate? Then why don't we come to Commissioner's Court to approve stuff?
We set the dollar amount for that position, it's what we just said, it's in the
But how
budget.
is Matt gonna know what the hourly rate is?
The elected official is going to come to the board and say, I'm paying this guy $10 an hour for 26 hours, or whatever the calculation is. That is the way it was explained to me by the attorneys.
Or keep it
Which
to 37 and a half.
It
for
was,
individuals.
it was a one from Pat, what was her name?
I believe you spoke with the product Gilchrist.
Yes.
Okay. Well, like I said, it would be nice if we were all on the same page before we started.
We have elected officials in here. The elected officials get it, what we're talking about? Don't be grinning, Sheriff.
B, do you get it?
My question
is that we've always said they're gonna start here, and that's when we have to start,
Okay.
with a new employee.
And Joanne, do you get it? Yay. Jamie?
Okay, my only question is, what happens when you have, I have a department that has to work and put out work at all different times. So if we're down to like November general election, and money is almost gone because, I mean, they've been getting paid that all year long. And they need to stay and they need to work. So where's the money gonna come from to pay them? Because the work has to be done.
Well, I guess that
So
would,
where's the money gonna come from? Because I'm already past, I'm already towards the end of my budget.
where would it ordinarily come from? The court. You would say the court by statute, you have to be open for this election, and I don't have any more salary dollars, therefore you have to give it to me. And then they would turn around and give it to me, just like.
I don't know if I agree with that.
That's how.
But at the end of the day, though, this program has come
But that's what happened with your election.
But this is what's
I don't-
happening, is you're getting, Janie, he's giving you more flexibility now, so you should be happy.
No, the flexibility is there. My question
I don't-
is, they're taking it from the rest of your budget. That's what I was told.
Well,
I don't see it as, the way it was explained to me, that we allot an amount for that position. That elected official has to manage that amount for the entire year for that position, be it overtime, be it whatever. That's the amount of money that was allotted for that position. That's why you need a salary study and a legal opinion.
You do, the salary study.
But if, what's the salary study gonna do if the elected official can do what they want?
Well,
You know, we're getting off.
We're not talking about the budget, now we're talking about salary.
No, I just think we're getting a lot of flexibility. I'm fine with that. I just wanna make sure that we're getting that
I
flexibility.
like that, I'm fine with that.
I am, I really am, because
I
I'm
like
ready.
that. Let's end on a positive note.
All right, anybody else want to discuss on the budget besides salaries? Okay. All right, now let's go to increased tax office postage line item, $13,000.
okay. We got accurate pricing on this. It's going to be approximately a $5,200 increase in office and $9,273 increase in postage.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion and a
That's to
second.
send out the separate notices, right?
Correct.
Yeah. All right,
All of
there's
this come from fund
a,
balance.
all right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by
This
saying
is in the
aye.
new budget, right?
This is in the
Yeah.
budget, correct.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nobody? Okay, nothing else?
All right.
Then this meeting's adjourned.